9 times out of 10, nobody would believe anyone if they said police officer. It just feels like police officers are being told to target minority citizens. Like, it just seems like a conspiracy at this point. Like, how long have this been told? This has been told when I was a little kid. So I'm pretty sure this has been kind of a long understanding situation. Thank you for watching Power to the Pod, where we are committed to an intellectual integrity and a moral honesty. I'm your host, Superior, and once again, thank you for watching. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about, once again, police officers saying the quiet part out loud. Now, I know it's been, for decades now, a lot of Black and brown people in these neighborhoods will consistently complain, and usually it's the same complaint, that they're being racially profiled, and it seems like they're always targeting a certain area. Now, some people might want to say, well, in these Black and brown communities, there's more crime, there's more things that police officers need to be more involved in. And then some pushback would be, but I don't think that's necessarily true. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to live it to kind of see it and understand it. You know what I'm saying? And me living in this environment my whole life is obvious to me. But when you're having this conversation to someone who doesn't understand this, sometimes it feels like you're speaking another language. But it helps. Like the video that we're about to watch, it helps when these people, these police officers, these bad police officers say the quiet part out loud. And even then, it's still going to be people who don't understand and don't want to accept what is being said from these police officers. So let's go ahead and watch this video and let's have this conversation.
Yep, he said it out loud. A cop, a white veteran male officer, admit he was told to not respond unless a white community called him. He also says he was told to be ready to kill. All right.
What?
Let me do this.
That sounds crazy.
We covered this same police division about a year ago because they did this.
Well, first of all, I don't know why you're dumping out like that on us. You can wait for us to get here. Damn, dude, man. Look, listen, your plates don't come back to the thing, so there's a traffic stop on you. Where you at, bro? I'll be taking the route. Okay, don't do that to us. Get the f*** out. Why? I'm in a police uniform. Yeah, but I don't know where you are. All right, I'm going off. You said Detective Robinson? Yeah. Cool, man. All right, have a good night. Holy Maryland's like being in patrol, dude. Dumbass.
Damn.
The police department.
Okay, hold on, Dr. Ricci. It is just crazy the amounts. Now maybe I have this misconstrued because maybe I watch too many TV shows, but in my head it's like when you're speaking to a detective, that means something. That title means something. And if someone comes at them incorrectly, they correct it. Hey, it's detective. I'm no officer. I'm not your bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm Detective Robinson. You know what I'm saying? But just the amount, maybe that's just on a TV thing. They do stuff like that. But they had no respect. And like, hey, I apologize. We ran your place. Boom, boom. My bad. I'll get back to what I'm doing. Have a good day. But no, they chill the F out. Like, it'd be weird. Like, I don't want to say the conversation would be steered differently if he was a white detective, with some grays in his hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they would have showed a little bit more respect. I don't know. Like that's just in an alternate reality and the world may never know type question or type answer. But to me, it's just a little weird how that kind of played out.
That I'm talking about today was in the headlines for pulling over a detective in their own agency while he was in full uniform, while driving a police car. When he got out of the vehicle to signal to these lower ranking white officers, I'm a detective, full uniform.
Put some
I'm driving a
respect
government
on it.
vehicle. I'm on the clock.
Tick, tick.
The officers proceeded to ask him, where are you going? Where are you going?
Like that's any of their business.
Now, a complaint was filed by that detective. There's another complaint today. Let's put it up. Kansas City, Missouri. Police officer has filed a lawsuit alleging, after being told to target minority neighborhoods to make his ticket quota, Edward Williams, who is white and a 21-year veteran of the Kansas City Police Department, said he and other officers were told to, and I quote, target minority citizens.
Wow.
Go to minority neighborhoods and write tickets because of the belief that it would be easier to write multiple citations for every stop. Now,
let's just rewind like 5 seconds right there. 9 times out of 10, nobody would believe anyone if they said police officer. It just feels like police officers are being told to target minority citizens. Like it just seems like a conspiracy at this point. Like how long have this been told? This has been told when I was a little kid. So I'm pretty sure this has been kind of a long understanding situation. But it seems like nobody believes that. Like, no, it's just too much crime over there. That's why there's police officers over there 24/7. What about this? And yes, this is in Kansas City, but do you think Kansas City is an anomaly to this type of treatment to minority places? I highly doubt it. You smoking a little too much if you think that.
To write multiple citations for every stop. Now, white veteran officer files a lawsuit saying this was the systemic practice of that police department. Systemic practice, meaning they as a culture were told to ticket Black communities because they believed these communities were easy to target. There's more. The lawsuit also claimed that Williams was constantly subjected to racially inflammatory rhetoric about Black people and told not to wear his department-issued body camera for 2 or 3 hours daily while the camera charged. That's actually a violation of their internal policy. The 44-year-old noted in the lawsuit that former police chief Rick Smith told him and other police officers that they would be demoted to work on an overnight shift if they did not fulfill the ticket quotas of 100 drivers monthly. If you remember, we actually broke a story right here on Indisputable from the city of Atlanta. They were utilizing a very similar service. They were engaged in a quota system, but they called it a point system. And in that point system, you got the most points for locking up a juvenile. I kid you not. You got the maximum amount of points if you arrested a juvenile. You needed to get roughly 8 points per shift. A juvenile was worth 5.
Wow.
One arrest was worth 5 points. If you stop a potential issue, if you responded and you were able to de-escalate, you know how many points they awarded you that day?
How much?
0.25.
Wow.
Less than 1. There's more.
Okay, hold on, Dr. Richie. Hold on, slow down, player. look me in the eye. Look me in the 4 eyes that I have looking at you. Can we just imagine the negative impact that will have on a community if their patrolling is based off a point system, and if you don't acquire a certain amount of points by the end of the week or the end of the month, you're going to reap the consequences, because I'm assuming they didn't want to work overnights. You would have to work nights. So just imagine, we don't have to travel this road together. I'm pretty sure you're smart enough to understand the consequences of having a point system, and the easiest way to get points is to lock up, handcuff, detain. I don't know what the situation is, but a juvenile. Come on, really? You understand how disingenuous that whole entire police community relationship is going to be. How many juveniles is going to be detained, locked up for a night, whatever, for little to no reason, just because they want to get some points? That is crazy to me. That's a whole nother video. But once again, people would not believe it. Some people still won't, but people would not believe it if it's not being told to them in their face like this. But like I said, black people has been knowing this a long time.
Says that after he reported the discrimination to his supervisors, they failed to document or investigate the accusation. He also claimed he was retaliated against. The lawsuit states that the KCPD violated the Missouri Human Rights Act by subjecting Williams to racist rhetoric. Minority officers would have certainly reported. Now, what is he saying? You know what he's saying? He's in conversations because he's white. Because he's white, his white colleagues feel very comfortable talking about their biases out loud. Obviously, they were selective as to who they said this in front of. There's more. The lawsuit states that Williams was told by a captain to be ready to kill.
Oh, man.
And to only respond to calls from white neighborhoods because they pay their taxes.
Wow. Okay, whoa. Was told by a captain too. I'm going to repeat it because maybe you didn't hear Dr. Reach. Maybe the frequencies in his vocals didn't reach your ears, but I'm going to repeat it because this is just weird to me how this is not a bigger story and should be police department's main objective to kind of explain and to handle. Approach every car with the mindset to be ready to kill everybody in the car. To a certain extent, I've never been a police officer, so I can understand. I'm not going to play stupid here. I can understand there's always a threat. There could always be the potential of a threat when you're approaching a car, especially with tinted windows. You don't know who's in it. You don't know how many people are in there. You don't know if all of them are strapped up. You don't know what the case is. I understand that. But I think if you're a police officer, you need to be able to discern very quickly the situation in that car. If it's just, for example, if it's just a young man in his car, he doesn't seem like he's a threat, and you ask for his ID and registration, you should not be, and maybe this is just me, a civilian talking, you should not assume he's going to be a threat. That's just one of those difficult situations that you will have to be smart enough and aware enough to discern your situations. And if you're not capable of doing that, you should not be a police officer. If your mindset is already at an 8, at a 9, at a 10, for some action, every situation that you find yourself in when pulling over somebody is going to be aggressive. You already going to have your hand on your gun. And if I'm reaching for my wallet, you're already at an 8, at a 9. You're already paranoid. So what are you going to do? You're going to shoot me. And you just asked me to go get my registration. How many times has that happened already? One too many times. and this is the funny part. It only responds to calls in white neighborhoods because they pay their taxes. Brother, black people pay taxes. Black people pay tax. Why is this still a concern, a conspiracy amongst a lot of non-black people that black people don't pay taxes? I just checked my check stub a couple days ago, and I pay a lot of taxes. And I don't even know why, but I pay a lot of these taxes. The next time I call the police, I need these suckers to show up less than like 2-3 minutes because I pay taxes. And everybody else in this complex, I'm pretty sure, pays taxes. So it's just weird how only respond to calls in white neighborhoods because they pay their tax. Boy, it's the ignorant level of some people, man. It's crazy.
Officer Williams claims in the complaint that the captain told him to approach every car with the mindset to be ready to kill everybody in the car and only respond to calls in white neighborhoods. The lawyer for Williams, Gerald Gray II, said the racism within the department is systematic. I've come to hear these types of stories and over again in regard to, police misconduct, he said, and not just isolated to individual officers, but really kind of it being systemic. Gray added that Williams was hoping the lawsuit would bring about change to the KCPD. He's doing this for the fact that, he wants to police the right way. No other reason except for he's hoping that this will bring about change. Let's go.
All right. So once again, a very interesting statement here. Williams' lawyer, he said, the racism within the department is systematic. Once again, you ain't telling me nothing new. You ain't telling black folks and brown folks nothing new. We've been telling you it's a systematic problem, systematic racism. Oh, this is people's, go-to line. Well, tell me where in the laws that, where it's systematic racism. Perfect example. A system isn't always something that's in the books or, in black and white law. You know what I'm saying? It is, in this situation, a training. When these police officers is going through their training, it's a culture. It's something that is taught by, the senior officers, which some of them, if they've been policing for a couple of decades now, they probably seen and said some things. I'm just kind of painting a broad brush right there. But then that is being taught to the next generation of police officers. And that's being taught to the next. So it's a cultural, systematic racism that's being handed down in these police departments. That's why policing seems like nothing's really changed. There it is right there. So I don't want to hear nobody saying, oh, there's no systematic racism. Oh, police, like, come on. Even they're saying it. And they're not black. If that means anything. Because I know a lot of people like, oh, they're just black. They just love playing the victim card or love being a victim. Come on. It's right here. It's right here. Come on.
Go to the current chief. Okay. So you have the former chief. Now you have the current chief, right? Current chief is Stacey Graves. Miss Graves, the chief, released a statement claiming that the department was dedicated to equitable and fair policing. It says, and I quote, "Our department is dedicated to policing that is both equitable and fair in all aspects of our duties. We do not direct enforcement activities based on demographics. We do direct traffic enforcement in high crash locations, as well as citizen traffic complaint locations. I find these allegations very concerning and will immediately ensure the traffic division is reminded to operate and enforce the laws properly." Let me tell you the problem.
Okay, tell them the problem, and I'm going to wrap this up.
Chief, it ignores the reality of the complaint. The complaint that has been echoed by multiple officers under the jurisdiction of that police department.
All right. So let's go ahead and back here, and I'm going to wrap this up here. All right. So she says our department is dedicated to policing that is both equitable and fair in all aspects of our duties. It feels like it now, if she wrote this, if she typed this up, wrote this herself, it just feels like she has no idea what the situation is. I find these allegations very concerning and will immediately ensure the traffic division is reminded. What do you mean reminded? It needs to be some consequences. Do you think they just like forgot their training? Like, oh man, I didn't know that I can't be targeting minority places, communities. Man, I kind of forgot that. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't be ready to be strapped up and kill anyone who's sitting in the car. Oh man, I kind of forgot. You don't forget stuff like that. You're taught that, and then you practice it. Then it becomes a routine. She said, we do not direct traffic enforcement in we do direct traffic enforcement in high crash locations as well as citizen traffic complaint locations. It feels like a lot more needs to be done than just reminding your officers. This is a cultural thing that seems to be not just in the past year. Like, everything's been working out very well until the past, like, maybe year or two. And then you kind of need to do some follow-up training. No, this has been a situation for decades now. And now it's been proof before, but it seems like it's a constant reminder to us that policing needs to be reformed. It needs to be fixed. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the wrong tripping. And if you think so, if you made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments down below what I am wrong about. Or if you want to have a conversation, let me know in the comments and let's have that conversation.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to join the conversation by subscribing. Make sure to tune in next time, and like always, power to you, power to me, power to the people, power to the pod.